as Lent is commencing, you will take that time with Jesus and to really talk with him about what he is hoping for you for this Lenten season. Hi, my name is Kate. Welcome to Seeking to Remain. This is a YouTube channel where we chat about the upcoming Sunday Gospel, or in this case, the Wednesday Gospel for Ash Wednesday. It feels kind of weird to say Happy Ash Wednesday, given that it is the start of Lent in this penitential season. So perhaps maybe a Blessed Ash Wednesday. I don't really know what the appropriate Ash Wednesday greeting is. Sorrowful. It doesn't really sound much like a greeting. Anyway, that aside, it is Ash Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining me on this bonus video that I wasn't sure if I would get out or not. But Tuesday, I got inspired, so here we are. In our reading, our gospel reading, Jesus is sharing about the way that he would like to see his disciples fasting, praying, and giving alms. Those are the three core modes, three core ways to really enter most deeply into this Lenten season, this preparatory season. Some people will choose something to pray, something to fast, something to give, be it time or finances. There's all sorts of ways that you can engage in Lent. So I hope that you have picked something. If you haven't, that's okay. Take some time, take a day or two. There's not like a checklist you have to check off at church that says that you did your fast this week. It is between you and God. And if you need an extra day to prayerfully enter into this season, then take that day. But I'd love to know if you would like to share in the comments what you'll be doing for Lent. I'll mention my fasts, I suppose, at the end of this video. Anyway, Jesus says, "When you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites. They neglect their appearance so that they may appear to others to be fasting. Amen, I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, so that you may not appear to be fasting, except to your Father who is hidden. And your Father who sees what is hidden will repay you." So even Jesus says, your fast is between you and God. You don't owe an explanation for what you're choosing to do for your fast. I would, though, invite you to think carefully about what you are choosing to fast, what you are choosing to pray, what you are choosing to give. That's kind of what I wanted to center this video around, is the attitude with which you go into Lent. And to set that up, or set that conversation up, I've had two recent experiences that I want to share a little bit about first, and then they'll tie into everything. So first, there's a YouTube channel that I follow, and it's all yarn and knitting stuff. It's not church related, but the maker has been taking some time to do some like deeper dives into why she makes the things that she makes, why she thinks the things that she thinks about what clothing she should make for her body type, and that kind of stuff. And the way that she talks about it is she wants to interrogate her making. She wants to interrogate her thoughts or her assumptions or presumptions or the things that society has told her about the way that she should make or dress. She wants to interrogate those things. And she's really firm on that word. She uses it a lot, which I think is interesting. I think it does make sense that we ought to question our assumptions or things that we have heard from childhood about perhaps our body image or the way that we do our hair or whatever it is, the type of car that we're supposed to drive, the things we're, quote, supposed to do according to societal norms. It's good to question those and then to own those choices for yourself as an adult. But that word interrogate is really strong. It has some connotations, at least for me, that almost go into the negative. And then on the flip side, I think I've talked about this, but probably last year, way in the past, all the way last year, about the catechetical model, the Catechesis of the Good Shepherd, which I have found out that my parish offers, which I didn't realize. And I'm so happy that my younger 3 children are able to be in atrium again. And I'm volunteering in the level 1, which is the ages 5, 4, and 3-year-olds. And then my 11-year-old is also volunteering, which is wonderful. And one of the things that the children are invited to do in atrium is to hear a Bible story. Generally, they also see a visual representation as well, something tactile that they can hold and touch or smell or see. And then they're asked to wonder. I wonder, let's see, what would be a good example? I guess last week's Sunday Gospel, the blind man and Jesus. I wonder what the blind man was thinking when he heard about Jesus. I wonder what the disciples heard and saw when Jesus healed this man. I wonder what the Pharisees thought when this man who they knew had been a leper came to the temple clean. It's this invitation to wonder about the people, the circumstances, the places. So those are my 2 modes or attitudes that I wanted to talk about with regards to choosing a fast and thinking about what you'd like to come out of this fast. What do you think God is calling you to in this fast? To take a certain stance of interrogation, of questioning, of why am I choosing this fast? Is this because this fast is what I do every year? This fast feels comfortable. My mom always does this fast. I heard a friend talk about this fast and it seemed really challenging and I want to try it. To find out a little bit more of the why behind your fast. But then at the same time, or in the same place of questioning, to also wonder, and to wonder, what is God calling me to? Is this the fast that I am called to? Is this the prayer practice that God wishes to meet me in? I wonder what lesson God is going to teach me through this practice. I wonder if I could make this more challenging. I wonder if I have made a commitment that is too challenging and that I'm asking more of myself than God is asking of me. I wonder what kind of relationship I will have with God at the end of Lent compared to now. So I'd invite you to take some time and go into that place of questioning. To, yes, ask some hard questions, but to also wonder and to allow yourself that freedom to listen to what God would like of you. And perhaps the fast that you picked is going to be exactly in line with all of these questions. Perhaps the prayer practice that you're hoping to start this Lent is falling into place in a way that you had hoped. Perhaps you'll be inspired to try something new or different that you haven't done before. Perhaps you heard of a fast that someone else is doing and your initial reaction was, whoa, that's way too much. That's too hard. I can't do that. But you keep thinking about it. You keep wondering, maybe that's what I'm called to do this Lent. I can't answer those questions for you, but I hope that if not today, in these next few days, as Lent is getting begun, as Lent is commencing, you will take that time with Jesus and to really talk with him about what He is hoping for you for this Lenten season. For me personally, and the fasts that I am doing, a number of years ago in a different house that was very spread out. It was one story, but it was like a Franken house. It was two houses that had been put together. It's very complicated. Anyway, I would often yell through the house to try and find my children because it was such this sprawling situation. And I realized that while I was telling them not to yell at one another, all I was doing was yelling at them all day long because I wasn't moving myself to go and find them. In this current house, we have an upstairs, like a full, true upstairs. We haven't really had a full, true upstairs in a number of years. And what have I found myself doing but standing at the bottom of the stairs and yelling at them to not yell at each other? And that just seems awfully hypocritical. So, unless there is some kind of emergency situation where I would need to yell for someone, if I require a child to be in my presence, I need to get up or move myself and go to them. And I will be fasting from shouting up the stairs. And hopefully that will build a habit of a more courteous, kind, and a better model to follow person in me. And then the other thing that I am doing, and I did do this last year, but I am bringing it back again this year, is on every Friday in Lent, I will be doing a full fast, not just the meatless fast. I'll be doing the Ash Wednesday, Good Friday fast every Friday. Because I was really amazed last year. Maybe I'll include, if I can find it. We'll see if I have time. If you go all the way back to last year's videos, you'll hear about it, I'm sure, in some of those Lenten videos. But I was amazed at how food focused I am. And I think that those habits have come back to me. And so by taking some intentional time to fast and think about the amount of brain space that food occupies, I think is something to work on. For prayer, I'm still doing a daily rosary, which I'm very proud of myself that I have been able to maintain. And I'm not sure that adding something else is going to be the right thing at this moment. I've done some of this interrogation and some of this wondering. And between my morning prayer, rosary, and my other commitments that I have going on right now, I don't think trying to add an additional prayer practice is going to bear the fruit that I would want it to. I think it will become a duty, a checklist, and something that gets forgotten. And that's not the way that I want to start a prayer practice. So I'm going to be working on maintaining the correct attitude about the prayers that I have. That it is an opportunity to talk with God, not something that needs to be checked off of my checklist. And almsgiving is, I'm not really sure. I think what Ben and I have talked about is that we're going to be fasting from the Amazon Prime 2-day shipping as it comes up. That we will be. It's not necessarily giving. We just had a whole big capital campaign at church, and so we just did a whole bunch of almsgiving already in anticipation of Lent. But I think that intentional waiting and that delayed gratification type of thing is going to kind of fall into our family almsgiving. So if you would love to share your fasts or prayers, I would love to hear them and be inspired by you, and so that we can continue to pray for one another and support one another as we go through this Lenten season. I will be back on Sunday. I hope that you have a good start to your Lent.